The students, today we shall look at Act 5, Scene 1 of The Merchant of Venice. The introduction says that having concluded the trial scene, a serious one, now they have come to a bit of humorous scene and the concluding act in which we have the ring episode. You know that Merchant of Venice has got three main stories or episodes. The first one is casket story. Act 1 onwards, the audience have been preparing themselves to see the selection of the casket, how it came about, who are the suitors who all came to choose the casket, etc. That is the casket story. At the end, in Act 3, Scene 2, wherein Bassanio makes the right choice, the casket story comes to an end. Then you have another story, that is the bond story. The bond which started in Act 1 when Antonio borrowed money from Shylock in order to give to his brother friend Bassanio. He signed a bond, a contract. So that continues throughout the drama up to Act 4. In Act 4 we have the trial scene wherein the verdict is given in favor of Antonio and against Shylock. That is the second story. And the third story is the ring episode, the story about the ring. It begins only in Act 3, Scene 2, Bassanio having made the right choice of casket, the marriage between Portia and Bassanio takes place, the engagement. There they exchange rings. So when Portia gave the ring to Bassanio, put it on his finger, Portia told him, "You have to keep this ring forever. You should never lose it, never sell it, or give it to anybody. It should be safeguarded as a symbol of our love." So that is where the ring story begins. Along with that, Nerissa, the clerk of Portia, gives the ring to Graciano, her lover, and demands the same of him to keep it safe. So later we see that in Act 4, in the trial scene, wherein Portia, after winning the case in favor of Antonio, asked for the ring. Actually, Bassanio wanted to offer something. The lawyer or the judge refuses to accept it. At the end, out of compulsion, the judge says, "Okay, if you are compelling me so much, I will accept it, but I want only the ring." Wherein Bassanio rejects to give the ring. But later we will find when Antonio requested Bassanio that the ring should be given to her, that is Portia, in the disguise of a judge. Then he sends a servant. The servant, that is Graciano, he runs after the judge and the clerk and gives over to the judge the ring. So that story is continued in Act 5, Scene 1. You remember that Portia tells Nerissa that we should go fast from Venice to Belmont. Before our husbands reach, we should reach in Belmont. So they came little early and then the husbands reached. So on arrival, the ring episode will come up again. The climax of the ring episode will be witnessed in Act 5, Scene 1. So Portia and Nerissa will demand for their rings, and the husbands are not able to produce them. So there's a lot of fun for the audience, but both Bassanio and Graziano are in great sorrow. At the end, all things are resolved, and all the other issues which are unresolved are resolved in Act 5, Scene 1. Let's look at it. Of course, the scene is shifted from Venice to Belmont. The last scene takes place in Belmont. Scene 1, Belmont, a venue to Portia's house. Enter Lorenzo and Jessica. You remember that Lorenzo and Jessica were put in charge of the house of Portia. Portia, along with her assistant Nerissa, had gone on a pilgrimage. That's what she had told them. So they are taking care of the house, Lorenzo and Jessica. So now they enter. A venue. A venue is a road, avenue. Venue, you know. Venue means a place. Venue is place. Avenue is a broad road. Avenue is a broad road. B-R-O-A-D, R-O-A-D. It's a broad road. So, this is a way that is leading to the house of Portia. In those days in the countryside, you have the house in the little inside, and there is a way leading to the house. So, it's a broad way leading to the house, having some hedges or some fences along the road. That's called avenue. So now they are there, and above them the moon is shining. So in the moonlight, they are talking about love. So it is not an ordinary love. In the introduction it is told that the impassioned dialogues of Lorenzo and Jessica create an atmosphere of love and music. Impassionate means showing strong feelings. Impassionate is showing strong feelings. So their dialogues are filled with strong feelings and emotions which express love, accompanied with music. So let's see. So the first part is little tough because they are bringing in some characters known for their love. Those who have fallen in love. Some characters from the Greek mythology are brought up. Therefore, it's little difficult to understand. But if you pay attention, there is no difficulty. The text, they do not give much of it. But on the right hand side of the text, they are given the meanings. They have four pairs of lovers. Four pairs of lovers. And what do they stand for and what is their importance, or the story is given on the right hand side. So how they have taken it up is like this. So they have one pair who is unfaithful, followed by another pair who is faithful. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. The fifth one is Jessica and Lorenzo. Okay. So Troilus and Cressida is the first lovers. The moon shines bright in such a night as this, when the sweet wind did gently kiss the trees, and they did make no noise. In such a night, Troilus methinks mounted the Trojan walls and sighed his soul toward the Grecian tents, where Cressid lay that night. So moon is shining. Moon is symbol of love. It is believed that moon encourages lovers. Moon encourages lovers, and is very auspicious for the lovers to have a moonlit night. Why does moon encourage? Because moon himself fell in love with someone on earth. So she came down from the sky and made that man her lover. So moon is very auspicious. Okay. So now here they will begin, both Lorenzo and Jessica, each one gives one example. So they will begin always with in such a night as this. In such a night as this means this night is a moonlit night, a wonderful night, fit for love. So it must be a sort of that night, once upon a time, on such a night as this, these people fell in love. That's what it means. So the moon shines bright in such a night as this, when the sweet wind did gently kiss the trees. Sweet wind kissing the trees, a poetical way of expression. The wind is blowing and the wind touches the trees. And Shakespeare calls it the wind kissing the trees without making any sound. It means a silent night. A night fit for love and serenity. So it was in such a night, what happened? Troilus methinks mounted the Trojan walls and sighed his soul toward the Grecian tents. So to understand that, you need to read the story. Please read it, the explanation given on the right hand side. I'll just tell you the gist of it. Troilus was the son of the king of Troy. He fell in love with a beautiful girl called Cressida. Okay? Troilus was the son of the king of Troy. He fell in love with a girl called Cressida. She was very beautiful. So now what happened? They have been lovers, but meanwhile the Greek is the people of Greece, the king of Greece. The Greek people attacked Troy and captured it. Captured it. So whenever in those days, and in our own Indian history you have seen, in those days, when one king takes possession of another king, what will he do? He will carry away all that is worthwhile along with them. Now we have a war going on. So you are quite familiar with the war situation now, but those days it was quite different. So now what happens? The king takes away everything that is worthwhile, and along with that they carry all the beautiful women of the place along with them. So Troy was captured by the Greeks, and all the beautiful women of Troy were carried away by the Greeks. So they had pitched their tent, they had established their tent just outside Troy, and they were in the tent. And naturally, Cressida being the most beautiful woman, she was also taken away by the Greeks. So now they are camping just outside the fort of Troy. And Troilus is in love with Cressida. Troilus is inside, Cressida is outside in the camp of the Greeks. So now what Troilus was feeling so miserable. That his lover has been taken away. So he wants her lover to come back. So he climbs the fort, the wall of Troy, and he looks into the Grecian camp. Grecian means that of the Greek. He looks into the Grecian camp thinking that Cressida will come out of the camp so he can invite her back to Troy and their love affair can continue. But unfortunately, she did not come back. What happened? We do not know. Probably she must have opted for one of the outstanding men of the Greeks, or it is possible that she was being forced to marry someone in the Greek camp. Whatever it may be, she was unfaithful. She could not come back. So she is considered as this story is considered as a love affair of unfaithful love. Unfaithful love. Okay? Unfaithful love. The story of Troilus and Cressida is a symbol of unfaithful love. Though Troilus was faithful, Cressida did not prove herself faithful. Therefore, the entire story is considered as a story of unfaithful love. Now let's look at the passage now we will follow. The moon shines bright in such a night as this, when the sweet wind did gently kiss the trees, and they did make no noise. In such a night, Troilus methinks mounted the Trojan war. Trojan is Trojan also. Trojan walls, and sighed his soul towards the Grecian tents. Grecian tents is the tent of the Greek, where Cressida lay that night. Lay means lie down or stay. Where Cressida was staying that night, Troilus climbed the wall and he sighed. Sigh is a long breath. You can have sigh of joy. You finish your psalms, you're overjoyed. Sigh of joy. It can be a sigh of sorrow. Somebody in your family or somebody close to you died. Then it's a sigh of sorrow. Here it is sigh of love. So he climbed the wall and sighed. A sigh of love, expecting his lover to come back, but she did not come back. Therefore, it's an example of unfaithful love. Clear? Okay. Now we shall go to the second pair. Now Jessica speaks and she says, in such a night did Thisbe fearfully overtrip the dew, and saw the lion's shadow ere himself, and ran dismayed away. This second story, again the meaning is given on the right hand side. Please read it up. I will just explain. Pyramus and Thisbe, they were in love. Thisbe was a beautiful girl and Pyramus was a handsome boy. They fell in love with each other, but the parents opposed it. Their parents did not allow them to fall in love with each other and get married. But lovers, once they love, once they fall in love, they find ways and means of meeting with each other. So, Thisbe and Pyramus found their own way. They said, we shall meet in the forest, in the thick forest where nobody is going to see us, nobody is going to disturb us. So they both of them plan it out, they go to the forest, there they meet each other. So they must have been having some conversation, love affair, things like that. At the end what happened, there was a moment of separation, like it's a thick forest. They must have little got disturbed or got distanced, one got distanced from the other. And Thisbe happened to see a lion. Thisbe, the girl, saw a lion. Actually what she saw was only the shadow of a lion, not the lion himself. We call it lion himself because lion is supposed to be male one and lioness is female. So what she saw was the lion himself. She did not see the lion himself, only the shadow of the lion, and mistook that it is the lion attacking her. So she ran for life. So while she ran, what happened? The cloth which she was having on the top, something like you have some cloth, you just put it on top of your dress, dupatta. So while she was running, the cloth fell off and she escaped from the lion. Meanwhile, what happened? Pyramus comes. When Pyramus comes, meanwhile, what happened is actually what she saw is the shadow of the lion. After she ran away, the lion comes to the scene, and lion smells the dress, the cloak that was left behind. Most probably, the lion must have preyed on an animal. That means the lion must have eaten an animal. And his teeth, mouth and everything was full of blood. So when the lion smelt the cloth which had fallen, the blood drops fell on the cloth and the blood stains remained. So the lion goes away. Now Pyramus comes searching for this bay, and he finds only the cloak that is left. So when he saw the cloth of this bay, he could easily make out. And it was filled with blood stains, and he concludes that the lion has killed and eaten this bay. So he tells himself, why should I live? My lover is gone. My lover who loved me so much, we have come here to meet and talk to each other. And now she is killed. Why should I live? In the absence of this way, Pyramus shall not live. So he kills himself. He kills himself. What a laugh. Now, after some time, this way comes back, searching for Pyramus. Thinking that the lion must have gone away, she comes after a long time, and when he comes back, what she sees is the dead body of Pyramus. So he could easily understand what happened. That Pyramus has taken his life away in order to prove his love for her. So ends her life. So both die. Both die for their dear ones, for the lover. So this is considered a symbol of unfaithful or faithful. It should be a symbol of faithful love. So, Pyramus and Thisbe story is a symbol of faithful love. The first story is that of unfaithful love. This is faithful love. Clear? Now we'll go to the third story. We have plenty of stories, don't worry. The third story is about Enos and Dido. Before that I will just, I will not read the text once more, I mean not explain. Once more I will read and explain the second story. In such a night did Thisbe fearfully overtrip the dew. Overtrip meaning is given there. Walk lightly over. Walk lightly over the snow, dew, over the dew, and saw the lion's shadow ere himself. Ere means before. Who saw the shadow? Thisbe saw. Where did she see? Before himself. Before himself here means himself is the lion. Before himself means what she saw was not the lion, but the shadow of the lion, and ran dismayed away. Dismay is surprise. It could also mean that frightened. wonderstruck. Here is more of frightened and wondered. So she, having dismayed, she ran away. Then the rest of the story you know. Okay. Now we'll go to the third story. Now Lorenzo says, in such a night stood Dido with a willow in her hand upon the wild sea banks and wafted her love to come again to Carthage. So this is a story about Aeneas and Dido. Aeneas and Dido. The story is given on right hand side. Please read it up. Aeneas is a character in Aeneid by Virgil. Virgil was one of the famous writers of olden times. You are familiar with Shakespeare. So, in the past, Virgil was one of the outstanding writers, especially of dramas. So, one of his dramas, Aeneid, in that one character is Aeneas. Aeneas was an adventurer. Who is an adventurer? One who finds joys in taking risks in life. Taking risks in life. Climbing mountain is an adventurous thing. Going to distant lands is adventurous. So there are so many adventures. So he was an adventurer and he went from country to country, from place to place. So Aeneas, going like that, he comes to Troy also. He comes to Troy. And that time, the most beautiful woman in Troy was Dido. Very beautiful. Very charming girl. And he falls in love with Dido. Dido in turn fell in love with Aeneas too. They loved each other so much. But after some time what happened? You know that adventurers being adventurers, they cannot stick on to one place. They have to move places. So, Aeneas on a fine morning was found missing. Where did he go? Most probably must have gone to another country, another place for some adventurous trip. So when Aeneas was found missing, Dido could not stand it. So Troy is on the seashore. So she went to the beaches, walking in the beaches, holding a willow in her hand. A willow is a plant, a symbol of failed love. Symbol of failed love. The meaning is given there. The symbol of deserted love. Deserted means one who leaves and goes. Deserted. Having made somebody lonely. Having to leave somebody being uncared. That's the meaning of deserted. So willow is a symbol of deserted love. So she was going around on the beaches of Troy, having a willow in her hand, expecting Aeneas to come back. Did Aeneas come back? No. He did not come back. So she waited and waited and waited, thinking that one day Aeneas would return, but he never returned. Unfaithful fellow. In sorrow did Dido die. In sorrow did she die. She did not take her life away. She did not commit suicide. Out of the great sorrow of the departure of her dear lover, she died. So, this is an example of unfaithful love. I'll just read the text. In such a night stood Dido with a willow in her hand upon the wild sea banks and wafted her love to come again to Carthage. So Carthage is the place of Dido. Carthage is the place of Dido. And she expected Aeneas to come back to Carthage. Waft is waved to. So holding the willow in her hand, she was waving it, asking Aeneas to come back to Carthage. Okay. Now we'll go to the next story. Now Jessica speaks. In such a night, Medea gathered the enchanted herbs that renew old Aeson. So we have another story. That of Jason and Medea. They were also lovers. Jason goes in search of golden fleece. Fleece is the fur, F-U-R. The fur or the wool of the ram. F-U-R. So fur means wool. Here golden fleece is in reference to the wool of the ram. Ram is a male sheep. Ram is a male sheep. And the wool of the male sheep is called fleece. So there was a particular male sheep in place called Colchis. Is given there on the right hand side. A place called Colchis. A particular ram, that is a male sheep, which had golden fleece. The wool. Normally the fur is made of wool, but here in the case of this particular ram, the fur was made of gold. So if you are able to get that one, you will become very rich and that has lot of magical powers. But it's very difficult to get it. So Jason goes in search of the golden fleece to Colchis. And his wife Medea helped him in different ways to get the golden fleece. Jason did get golden fleece. Okay. Very, very adventurous fellow. So, meanwhile what happened? When she went there to help him, she collected some herbs. H-E-R-B-S. Herb is plants. Herbs are plants. She collected some plants having magical power. What is specialty about this is very interesting. That is, some of these herbs collected at night time have great magical power. If they are collected in the daytime, they do not have. If they are collected in the night time, it has great magical powers. That's the belief of the Elizabethan people in those days. So, Medea collected some of the herbs at night time in order to help her father-in-law. That is, the father of Jason. Father of Jason was Aeson. A-E-S-O-N. Father of Jason was Aeson. Aeson was ailing. He was sick. So he was bedridden. So Medea collected some herbs when she went in search of golden fleece along with Jason in order to heal her father-in-law Aeson. So she brought those magical herbs and treated him and got him healed. This speaks of faithful love. She was not only faithful to Jason, helping him to get a golden fleece, but she went one step further to bring the herbs, taking the risk of collecting them at night in order to help her father-in-law. Therefore, this pair stands for faithful love. Okay? So they stand for faithful love. I'll read the passage. In such a night, Medea gathered the enchanted herbs that did renew old Asen. Only that much is given. The meaning is given on the right side. Story also. Please read it up. I hope you understood. So now we are given 4 stories of love. Trilus and Cressida, symbol of unfaithful love. Next one, Pyramus and Thisbe, a story of faithful love. Third one is Aeneas and Dido, symbol of unfaithful love. And fourth one, Jason and Medea, symbol of faithful love. Now, what about Lorenzo and Jessica? Are they symbol of faithful love or unfaithful love? You have to say, you know them better. So now they will end with themselves, speaking about themselves, Jessica and Lorenzo. They are speaking about themselves. Let's see. Lorenzo, in such a night did young Lorenzo swear he loved her well, stealing her soul with many vows of faith. So, in such a night, all these things happened in such a night, such a wonderful night when the moon was brightly shining. Lorenzo also, in such a wonderful moonlit night, what did he do? Steal the wealthy Jessica, because Shylock was very wealthy, very rich man. Father being rich, the daughter was also very rich. So he has stolen the rich Jessica, and with an unthrift love did run from Venice as far as Belmont. Unthrift love, here the two meanings, both the meanings are given there. One is a careless devotion, another one is lover without money. The second one is more applicable because Lorenzo was a poor man. He did not have any money and Jessica was very rich. So this poor man ran away with the rich Jessica. From where to where? From Venice up to Belmont, and they are in Belmont now. Okay. Then Jessica replies, in such a night did young Lorenzo swear he loved her well, stealing her soul with many vows of faith, and never a true one. So it's a lot of fun, humor is there. So Jessica says, yes, in such a night did young Lorenzo swear he loved her well. He made so many promises saying that, I love you so much, you are very dear to me. But what happened? Stealing her soul with many vows of faith. Vows are promises, oath. He made so many promises and stolen her soul. That means attracted her so much, made her to fall in love with him. But what happened? And never a true one. It was not true. Though he said, I love you so much, I will stand by you, I will do this one, that one, he did not do. He was unfaithful to me. That's what Jessica is saying. So Lorenzo returns saying, in such a night did pretty Jessica, like a little shrew, slander her laugh, and he forgave it her. Pretty Jessica I can understand. Like a little shrew. Shrew is a bad-tempered woman. Bad-tempered woman. So Lorenzo says Jessica is a bad-tempered woman. Such a bad-tempered woman, what does she do? Slander her love. Slander means backbite or defame or to spoil somebody's name. So let's say spoil somebody's name. Slander her love. Who is the love of Jessica? Lorenzo. That is to say that Jessica, just like a bad-tempered woman, spoiled the name of Lorenzo. That's what Lorenzo says. How did he spoil his name? By speaking ill of him. Okay? It's a quick wit. Okay? Because Jessica says that he did not actually love her, only made promises. So, in that way, she has spoiled the name of Lorenzo. In spite of that, Lorenzo has forgiven her. In such a night did pretty Jessica, like a little shrew, slander her love, and he forgave it her. Lorenzo has forgiven Jessica. Now Jessica replies, I would outnight you, did nobody come, but hark, I hear the footing of a man. So Jessica says, I would have actually beaten you in making these speeches about night. Outnight here means speeches made at night. So it's a moonlit night, they are making speeches. They were saying one after one says something and another means another pair. Then the next one speaks, next one comes. Like that they went on talking. Now she says, I would have outwit you, I would have beaten you in saying or giving another speech. But I hear somebody coming. I hear the footstep. Haven't I heard the footstep? I would have beaten you. So there ends the first part wherein they are speaking about the emotion-packed, feelings-packed love affairs. Some are unfaithful lovers, some are faithful lovers. And at the end, it is for us audience to conclude whether the love affair between Lorenzo and Jessica were faithful or unfaithful. Thank you.